Hello again, it's me, your fellow athlete, Chidinda Franklin Chukulota Mwokonkwo Blaze. I am an Anglican breed, an Anglican communion breed of Olo Diocese of the Church of Nigeria. So today, like I said in my previous videos posted on YouTube, I'm going to talk more on Satan and his ways and Christ and his ways. So, I told you that Satan is a light that was consumed by darkness. I cannot really tell you the ways of the darkness that consumed him, or why the darkness that consumed him uses him for what he uses him, or how the darkness that consumes Satan is. Because like I told you in the previous videos, that even beyond the darkness that has consumed Satan, that is holding Satan, there are other forms of darkness that are greater than them. Even in the universe, in the same universe, scientists have made a proof of such things as black hole, dark matter, black hole that is always swallowing, is always open to swallow. And that is what darkness is always about. Darkness is always something that consumes you, it takes hold of you. And in darkness, you have no ability of your own. In darkness, you have no sighting. In darkness, you have no functionality. You have no functionality. So, the main reason why I would say that Satan is aggressively fighting against the ways of righteousness is because Christ is the one who orchestrates or who institutes the ways of righteousness, who makes us works for good, functions for good. Like I told you, the light that shines on earth is the light that gives life to us as human beings and as every organism on earth. So the light is given dominion when he was exalted as the Son of God. Is given dominion over this universe, and this universe that you see has been in the domain, or in the charge, or in the control, or in the possession of a dark energy, a dark matter. So Christ is like reigning supreme over the territory of darkness, the place that he is exalted. Even scientists have said it. Even when you try to go see from where they stay to view the sun, because they haven't been able, nothing can be able to go close to the sun. Like I told you, it's a burning light. It's the greatest light ever made, the first of its kind, the Prince of Peace, the light of man, the light that gives life to all. So where he is given dominion over, Satan is an angel at that level, was an angel at that level. So because he envied the exaltation of Christ, because Satan envied it, he challenged it, he revolted against it with those that are his subordinate, or those that like him, or those that follow to his tune and ways. Because I told you that when Christ said, "Let us make man in our image," he was speaking to God at that level where they are. Because you see, what is in human is very great. So at that level where they are gods, Satan revolted with those his army. Because even we humans, the same way we can have followers. That is the same way that Satan can also have followers in his own realms. And Christ also has his own follower. Like Angel Michael that fought against Satan is an army. Means that he's a follower of the ways of the light. So Satan got casted off with his force of darkness. So that is why you see the earth revolves around the sun. So the earth revolving around the sun means that the sun gives life to the earth. It contacts life to the earth. That is why Christ says, we are in him and him in God. The dominion, the space, the universe where Christ ruled. There is even a universe still hosting it. There is still a universe still hosting the other universe. And the greatest of all hosts, the Lord of all hosts is God himself that we know, that we call the greatest of all deities and divinity. So the ways of darkness is always to elude you of your conscience, to elude you of who you are. You can imagine a light as Satan being consumed by darkness. He's still shining, but he's not shining as he's supposed to shine because he's being swallowed by darkness. And he wouldn't be going where, even though his light will be shining for him, he won't know where he won't go where he's supposed to go. That means he won't function as he's supposed to function. You know, the story of Satan say that he's the one that organized worship to God, singing and praises. That is to tell you, to show you that he is the one that has been possessing this earth. Is because is how men of ages and even of this generation worship oracles and worship oracles of this earth, oracles crafted from this earth, oracles invoked from this earth, forces invoked and spirit invoked from this earth. That is have been the ways of worship that man has been engaging in. And the person that influenced it is Satan. Satan knows everything about worship. He knows how angry God feels when you worship, when you move and worship by the bindings of earthly forces that you are also part of. We are also part of these earthly forces that we are giving charge. That is why we can be able to consult it with blood, consult it with water, make contact with spiritual realm, because we are part of them. So for we to be possessed by them is shameful for us as human, is weakness for us. So Christ, being that he wants us to function for good, to produce good virtues and good fruits, Satan always works against that. That is why when Satan takes hold of human being, or when dark energy or dark power that rules over this earth, that uses money, most especially, money is one of the greatest tools. Money is the power of the world. Money is the power of the world that the humans know. Money reigns over men. Money reigns with men. It reigns with men and it rules over men. So whatever reigns, rules. So money reigns with men. When men have it, everybody wants to be their follower. So everybody can do by the bindings of them, and everybody can be possessed by them. It is why you see that even they will say that ritualists can use people's destiny. It is those who pledge allegiance to that force and spirit that they worship. Dark matters, it will elude you of your ability as a light, because you come from light. It is the life of Christ that is raining out from the life, raining out from Christ that is germinating here on earth, because light is shining on earth, and earth has element enough to produce life. That is why this life is here. So there will be time when this earth will also be consumed by the fire, when it will lose its form of giving life. Whenever this earth will stop breathing life, we will lose his organism or his ability to produce life. Humans will transform, will live here. The life in humans will still live here to locate another planet. There are other planets. Earth is just a planet that is opportune to have elements enough to produce life. Other planets will still, in time to come, the rays from the sun will still reproduce them and put them in a way that Christ will want the human life to exist in. The human life is existing here because Christ is just like testosterone it with here. We are already here. You cannot just stop everything that we have started on our own, because we are given free will at creation. Every human life is given free will. That is why when you die and encounter your creator and stand before your creator, there will be nothing like your mother will not be in the record of the things that you will give account for. It will be what you did to all humans, what you did with your fellow humans. Because every life has its functionality and its specialty. Every life from Christ is a light of is a life of light that is meant to function towards the ways of light, which is towards the ways of righteousness, towards the ways of peace and love for one another, justice for one another, standing and bearing one another always. But you see the way humans fight against each other, collide against each other, rule against each other, betray and deceive each other. These are the collidings and fruits of what Satan wants for them, because Satan disrupts. Satan is still revoking against the desires in him. That envy in him is still burning, and he is still being used because he's being consumed by dark energy. His desire is being used against Christ. And another part where I will put in is hellfire. The hell that I've told you before, hell is gotten from the word, a fire greater than fire that we know. A fire greater than fire on this earth. Okummo. In my Igbo language, it's called Okummo, the fire of the spirit. So it's a fire that can touch your spirit. Imagine the one here that can burn you. When I got a revelation through the power of the Holy Spirit that is on me of what hell is, they say hell is a refinery. Hell is a refinery, and it's programmed by God to be a refinery, because God releasing himself to Christ to make life reproduce on earth. When he requested that let us make man in our image, God released him life to Christ, and Christ released him life to earth to germinate formation, to form into what we see and everything that gives that light, that the light gives life to. So we ourselves, before we return to God to know if because when we die, we return to God. It is God that the grace of God that will decide if we are going to reincarnate through what we have done. Because why people are reincarnating is humans are still going to take time on earth before it is time for them to leave earth. There is still long time. When I was in trance once in the presence of the Lord, and I noticed that the earth, in the calculation of the heavenly beings or in the domain of God, earth rovers faster. So the years in earth, it might take 10 years to make a day in the presence of God. It might take 10 years, it might take 100 years to make a day in the presence of God. So you see things going. It will take you many reincarnations, many generations for you to come to make amendment for the wrong. Because you see all these gods, there were times where every one of us were the ones that started the worship of these gods by being followers of it or by being the initiators of it. So we are reincarnating because even me myself, I am speaking it out of experience. I am one of the person that when I asked of my history of when they told me the person that reincarnated me, so it was told that I was one of the people that initiated and started and started the worship of a god from the goddess, from the gods of this earth, worship or the worship of an oracle. So now I am called by the Holy Spirit to do the same thing, to show the way that this is the way of worship. That is still the same thing that Christ is doing to every life. Like I told you, Satan ignited the form, that form of worship to the gods of this earth to be provoking God. And if you do that, you stain yourself. You to worship the God of this earth is you belittling yourself because you are one of them. So you worshiping them is means pledging allegiance, surrendering your life to it, to its control, to its bindings, to its wanting. It will direct your destiny. Because once you place allegiance to Christ, Christ puts your destiny in alignment. He is the one that is preparing the life that is still going to, like it is written in Revelation, that when Christ will come up and take his people, it's still going to take time, years to come, and many of us are going to reincarnate more. Those that will be stuck in hell are those that are being refined. In Revelation, it is said that Satan will be held at the last day to be thrown in hell. because he's not yet in hell. So Satan possessing this earth is scientifically proven that it is drawing far away from its main universe, closer to the earth, to the sun. The earth is drawing closer to the sun. That is to prove to you that the earth will soon be consumed, is being attracted by the sun because of the darkness. It want to purge the earth of the darkness in it. That is when Satan and his host that controls this earth will be captured and be rebranded in hell, in the fire of hell, in that holy light of God. That is when they will be rebranded. And the Bible also made mention that he will be released again. So he will be released to put him to trial, to know if his desires are still going to be that of evil. So will every soul, like mine, like yours, like every other person. We are going to go through the light. It is that light. I told you that in my language, Eke Anyanwụ, the light, the sun that shines, is known as Eke Anyanwụ, Anya Onyenwe Ụwa, the light that God uses to watch this world. So once you die, immediately you will be asked, what good did you do with your time? It is not even, there will not be any book to record anything. You will be the one to open up yourself by the force that will be hold of you. Because when you go close to light, only the rays falling from the sun is able to give us life, give us sustenance, give us strength. Imagine when we get it will open you up. You are going to be the one to label out stories and your journey's encounters on earth. So if you are not found of any tiny good, like he said in the Bible, if your righteousness is not more than that of the Pharisees, you'll be tried on that hell. Hell is still the light. You'll be tried on that light. And for it to be burning means that there are souls in it. So those souls, their punishment is they will be burning in hell to give hell more strength to be releasing this rays that is releasing, to be giving life to still the people here on earth. So if you don't do good now, you are still going to burn in hell to do good for the people still living. That is how the punishment goes. But one thing you will know is in hell, one thing I cannot explain plainly to you as a human is that in hell, you might burn and might not survive it through the process. Because when gold is being refined, it's not all of them that mostly survive the process. Some of them will burn away in the fire. So you might consume like that. That is why Christ is warning you. He knows that he is the one to judge you. He is the one refiner, and he knows what you will go through there. It is only Satan, the son, the sedated one, the sent away angel, that is worthy, that is found worthy to burn in that hell. He's the one being prepared that hell for. He's the one that will be refined in that hell before he goes. But him and his angel, because there are many of them. So you can imagine how big hell is, that Satan is afraid of it. So they are going to burn in hell. And he's just dragging souls along with him because he is possessed by the consuming power of darkness, eluding power of darkness. It takes control of you and makes you lose your ability, your functionality as a human being. A human being is a very big word. To us, it sounds like just a human being. A human being it means a lot to God. For us, we mean a lot to God. So God expects that we coming here, being able to cultivate, we can use plants to make herbs that will cure us, that will keep our body going. We can use plant and consult spirit. Humans can be able to use blood, use water, use wine to consult spirit, to tell you that there is so much greatness in a human, and Christ wants us to function for the better. Hell is real. Heaven is real. Heaven is a peaceful place, like I told you. It might not be a place with mansions like you used to imagine it from the view of this world, but it's a very peaceful place, a place where there is no turmoil, where there is no challenges, where there is no oppression, where there is no weakness. Because you see the stars, even in the night, they are shining. It means that they don't sleep. They don't have time of sleeping and not sleeping. That is our level before we are given time to come and experience this place. So at heaven, there is no time of sleeping because darkness doesn't rule there. You get, darkness doesn't rule in heaven. So there's no time of sleeping. The stars shine always. That you can't see them during the day is because of the shining of the mighty star, the Son of God. Once he's awake, no other light you can see. You get. So, and it's not that he's awake. Once we shine, once we revolve around it, it shines brighter than ever. So at night we can see the star. The stars also shine as great as, not not only as great as the sun, but they shine as bright as close to the sun shines in their colors and in their formations and in their levels. We ourselves, we are light. To tell you that we are part of that light is because once the sun awakes through the night, you are able to be, your body is able to be possessed by the powers of darkness of this world. But once you make your eye contact or your skin makes contact with heat, see the sun, you are awakened. It gives you life. So is other plant. That proves to you that the light, the Son of God, the light of God, is the salvation of men. You get. Apart from this earth, there are other places, or this earth will be refined later. It is either another earth is being prepared for where men will be, where the life of humankind we generate later, or where life will generate later. Because the energies, being that it has been found the kind of energy that gives life to earth, Christ himself that is working daily is still going to use that formation and that process to build another livable place for this human life. Because humans have been created, they have been created, they can't be destroyed. A life, a spirit cannot be destroyed. The spirit has already been started and the human life cannot be ruined. So the human life will keep evolving. And Christ is able, he lives forever. Although humans are proving that in time to come, the earth, the sun will not be shining as it. Even if it doesn't shine like the light, it might shine like something else. Still working actively because it's the God of productivity and functionality. Why the enemy, his enemy, Satan, is the God of non-functionality and idleness and illusion and delusion. So I pray God saves all when we call on him. When you call on the name of Christ, he answers. If he asks you to lead you, he will lead you. He will direct you and show you where you need to go. You don't need to be ruled by money. If you diligently give yourself to God, he will give you the wisdom. Seek his ways. Psalm 37:4 says to me that delight yourself in the Lord and he will grant you the desires of your heart. If you grant yourself to the Lord, delight yourself in doing good, in loving one another in this earth, the Lord will grant you the desire because he will give you the wisdom. He will give you the ability to make connections, the opportunity to make connections that will give you wealth that you need to sustain while here on earth. You get. So do not give yourself over to sin and unrighteous ways or the darkness of this earth, so that your soul will not burn away in hell. So that your soul will not burn away. Many of us we are not the same on this earth. We are not the same. We, the messengers, like myself and other messengers of Christ, are light of this world, are part of great light of this world. Even though that we, some of ourselves, that if we get corrupted here, we are going to burn through in hell before we make it out purified again. It will be, we might make it, we might survive it because of the kind of light we carry. But some of you who are idle, some of you who have not discovered yourself, some of you who are still under the great shackles and captivity of the dark powers of this earth that is part of you or that have taken you long ago. You might not make it because your light is not shining bright. You might not make it to burn through hell if you can continue sinning and forsaking the ways of righteousness. So I indulge you, I urge you, I beckon on you, seek the ways of Christ. Only him gives salvation. Only the light gives life. Darkness doesn't give anything. Betraying one another, stealing from one another, killing to make money, wanting to rule over one another. These are the fruit of Satan. Beckon on the words of the Bible. The words of the Bible are true. Why you see the Bible is still, even King James, let me tell you, people keep judging the Bible because of King James is one of the translators, and King James was recorded as an evil man. The worst of men, God uses the worst of men to make them the best. Even though that King James did not translate the Bible for the goodness of the church, He is the one that added most of those slavery talks into the Bible. And some other places that were removed and were added, he's the one that went about it. But even yet, God still kept it that his words will not be changed in those Bibles. And you can see the words of God were not removed, even though and he translated it for good. He thought by translating it, he will revoke and the church will not move on again. But by that, you see that the church has spread because the English language conquered the whole world. And through that English language, God is seen as an English God because even the history of worship of God started long ago from history of the first humans on earth. So as long as Abraham is concerned, the first humans on earth started the worship of the only true God. So in ages to come, whether you call it a Christian God or the God of your own tradition, it is still the same God. But for you to worship God through oracles, like we the Igbos, we mostly worship the Ikenga God of war and destruction, the one that we use to fight against. We call it witchcraft, we call it shams, and we call it battles of the enemy. But if you are working with the light will fight for you, will be the one shielding you away from darkness. But you see, when you give yourself over to darkness, you still be fighting against your fellow dark people. That is why I told you there are many powers of forms and powers of darkness. One will possess you, think that one, the other one will be fighting you. Darkness is beyond what humans can do. It's beyond the ability of any human. No human can possess darkness and work with it. No. Because darkness is older than us. Only the light conquered against it. The Bible says, he is the light that shineth over in darkness, and darkness comprehended it not. So we are not meant to be consumed by it, but rather to balance it. Being able to sleep through the night is one of the abilities, because if you can sleep, if you can make your body fall down to sleep, it gives life to you. Who stays awake all years of his life is considered non-living. So if you can sleep through the night, it means that you will have the ability to function tomorrow. So you are only meant to balance it. Function during the day, sleep during the night. You're functioning during the day to what evil, and functioning during the night to walk evil in darkness. All these will consume your soul in hell. I think I've done enough in speaking all this word. I hope that as much as you can, as much as you people that will hear this word, you will hearken unto the ways of Christ, the ways of light, the ways of righteousness, and surrender yourself to him. His words never change. He's the one that say, whatever you ask in that name, Jesus, that is his name. That is the name. The name transformed from Yeshua to God of light, to God of light, because English germinated from those that heard unto the Jewish and Christian language. So that is one thing you need to know. That is why Christianity is in form of a Christian English language. But Christianity is the religion, the ways, and the language of the creator of this world. Whatever that dominates, God be using Hausa that the whole world will not listen to conquer the whole world, to show his way. Or will he go and be using Chinese that the whole world is? So it's English that conquered the world. So God uses the best, the worst of men. That is the work that he used King James to do. King James thought by translating the word, he will make it an English word, and they will revolt and the Christianity will rule. But through that, God used, now because of that, okay, since you have translated to English, I will use this language to conquer the whole world. So, and you see that English language populated the whole world. That is why the Christian language looks like it is the English language. So from this, have knowledge and repent. Follow the ways of righteousness, that the life and the blessings of the Lord might flourish and fill your life with all goodness. Amen.